We're glad to have you, and we want to talk with you more about it. There's so much to talk about, especially maybe the most confusing part to people who are voting is when you get down to the ballot and you go finally to the propositions and you see that there are actually 5 propositions having to do with this particular bond election for DISD. Under each one of them, at the very end in block letters, it says, this is a tax increase. Okay, we need to talk about that certainly, but let's back up and say, Miguel, if you would, $3.7 billion all told, this bond election. Tell us what's in it. Tell us why we need it. Tell us what we can expect if this were to pass.
Well, to my friend George, my friend Nancy, thank you so much for taking the time to invite me onto your program to talk about what's happening in DISD, all of the great progress that's been going on, and most importantly, as you've beautifully laid it out, what is the $3.7 billion bond and why is it actually not a property tax increase despite what people may see at the bottom of their ballots? Look, George, I think the first thing that I would say is it is very, very important for us to establish a foundation for this conversation. And the foundation I'd like to establish is the fact that Dallas ISD has been rapidly improving over the past 5 to 10 years. And I think that's important for our viewers to be able to understand. It's important for voters to know, because anytime that we go out to the voters to ask them to do anything, they should have an understanding as to whether the district deserves it or not. Since I got into the district in 2009, there has been a ton of work to try to put a focus on the things that we know would improve academic achievement. Things like improving our teacher pay, professional development and evaluation system, expanding early childhood education so that more kids can get an earlier start. Doing things like creating collegiate and career academies, which will ensure that kids are actually prepared for the 21st century global workforce, and especially that they can fill jobs in our own community. Doing things like taking on equity and banning the practice of out-of-school suspension for our youngest children because it was disproportionately impacting young Black boys, and creating the first ever African-American and Mexican-American history courses in not just Dallas ISD, but in the state of Texas, and then that becoming a model for the state to follow as well. These things and many more have led us to be the fastest improving and really the most improved large urban district in the state of Texas. And just this year alone, George and Nancy, this is really exciting information. We have been named by HEB as there's a prestigious award they give out each year to the best district in the state. We got that award this year. Eric Hale, who's a teacher in DISD at Burnett Elementary, has won the National Council of Great City Schools Teacher of the Year and was just named the Texas State Teacher of the Year, the first African-American male to ever win that award.
Wow.
And Dr. Hinojosa was just recently named by the Council of Great City Schools the National Urban Educator of the Year award. So, George, you said I was going to be leaving the board. I was retiring. I am, but man, this is a perfect time to retire when we've got all this stuff going on. So voters need to know Dallas ISD is booming when it comes to academic achievement. And now we're asking you all to help us improve our facilities. And the facilities improvements are really what make up the $3.7 billion bond.
Very good. Nancy, your mute is on.